Shri Guru Vaishnava Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vidantam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Shri Radha Krishna Saran Sahara Shri Vishakam Vidam Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnana Shalakaya Chakshur Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Vishnu Padaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Narayaniti Namine Shri Krishna Lila Chandra Audaya Madhurya Puraischayukam Madhavarenyam Purusham Mahatmam Narayanam Tam Jasam Triyam Dinam Bhakta Shidamanim Shah Shri Krishna Baladevi Chaitanya Lilamrita Sasam Narayanam Tam Samadhi Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Krishnaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nidisveshta Sunyavari Pachata Deshatarine Namo Vishnu Padaya Acharya Simadhurine Shri Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Keshavai Namine Atimadya Chaitanya Swasmitanam Chaparine Jiva Gure Sadataya Shri Nama Premanani Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Namine Shri Vaishnava Devi Nitya Nipatale Krishna Sabanda Vijnana Daine Bhagave Namaha Madhurya Jvala Premaya Shri Rupanuga Bhaktira Shri Gaura Karuna Shakti Vigrahaya Namaste Namaste Swaravani Shri Murtale Vinyandarine Rupanuga Vijnapa Siddhanta Sashikala Namine Gora Shakti Swarupaya Rupanuga Varadayate Gora Bhagaveswam Niresha Sajanpriya Vaishnava Sarvabhama Shri Jagannathaya Te Namaha Vanchakalpatrubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitana Pavanebhyo Vaishnavabhyo Namo Namaha Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gauragvasi Namaha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Ragunatha Namaste Kanchana Gauragiri Radhe Nameshwari Vishwabhanu Sudevi Pranami Hari Priye Jayatena Sadhuvarango Mama Hari Mashavasa Paramojo Radha Madana Divya Vidya Kalpa Sinasanastho Shri Shri Radha Shri Govindayo Preshtavi Sevyamanoosmarani Shri Vimana Sarasarani Bhamsiva Tata Shira Kashavindinosmanatopi Gopinata Vrindaya Kevasadevaya Priyaya Kesavasya Krishna Bhakti Pradevi Sachivate Namo Namaha Panchakhanam Krishna Bhaktarupasarupakam Bhaktamatam Bhaktanyam Namami Bhaktashankam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasari Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Page 24, Sri Guru Charana Padma. Sri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakati Satma Sri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakati Satma Mano Mui Savadana Meate Mano Mui Savadana Bando Mui Sabadana Bando Mui Sabadana Jara Prasade Boy Evo Doriya Krishna Prapti Haya Krishna Prapti Haya Krishna Prapti Haya Krishna Prapti Haya Padma Bhakya Chitete Goriya Padma Bhakya Chitete Goriya Parana Koriyo Prasade pure Prasade pure Prasade pure Prasade pure Divyagyan Hide Prakachito Divyagyan Hide Prakachito Prema Bhakti Jaga Hoite Avidya Vinasa Hoite Prema Bhakti Jaga Hoite Avidya Vinasa Hoite Vede Gaya Jagaratorito Vede Gaya Jagaratorito Guru Karuna Sindhu Atmajana Harabandhu Guru Karuna Sindhu Atmajana Harabandhu Lokanata Lokera Jivana Lokera Jivana Haha Prabhu Kora Doye Dekamore Padachaya Haha Prabhu Kora Doye Dekamore Padachaya Tua
There's a lovely article in the Ways of Harmonies, a special edition that was printed in memory of Sri Gurudeva. And there is a little article here giving the history of Gurudeva. There's a short, brief history of Gurudeva, of the life of Gurudeva. Om Gurudeva Gauda Chandraya Radhikaya Kadari Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Bhaktaya Namo Namaha. Om Jnana Tinandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurudhamena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. O Gurudev Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. From now, because he has left us, we'll say Om Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivajaka Acharya Astutara Sata Sri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. On February the 16th, 1921, on a new moon day, on the month of Magh, Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj took his divine birth in a highly educated and respected Brahmana family in the district of Tripura, in the Boxer district in Bihar, India. He was given the name Shriman Narayan by his parents. His parents were devout Vaishnavas of the Sri Sampradaya. Now we have 4 Sampradayas. Gurudeva took birth in the Sri Sampradaya. Now we belong to the Brahma Madhya Gauriya Sampradaya. So he was given the, his parents were devout Vaishnavas of the Sri Sampradaya. And from the time he was a small baby, Srimad Narayan was regularly taken by his father to recitation of the Ramayana, which he grew to love. The Ramayana is a brief history of the life of Sri Ramachandra, who is an incarnation of Lord Vishnu. In Tattva, there is no difference between Lord Ramachandra and Lord Krishna, but there is a difference in Ras. Okay? In February 1946, he met his Gurudeva, Sri Srimad Bhakti Pragyan Keshava Goswami Maharaj. And his life of complete and exemplary dedication to the path of Krishna Bhakti began. Upon receiving Harinam and Diksha initiation from his Gurudev, he received the name Shri Gauda Narayana. So that's the first time Gaudiya is coming in his life there. He got the name Shri Gauda Narayana. And look what happened, he became the leader or the acharya of the Brahma Gaudiya Madhya Sampradaya. Now I read an article by Gurudev's brother recently, and he said that Gurudev made 8 attempts to leave home, to go to his guru. He made 8 attempts, and every time you make an attempt, you go further and he turned back, and he went back home. First attempt, he went a certain distance, he went back home. Second time he went a further distance and he went back home. And 8 attempts he went back home. On the 9th attempt, now this is for Gurudev's brother. Gurudev heard an aerial voice telling him, Narayan, if you turn back this time, you will never get a chance in this lifetime. So on his 9th attempt, he left home, and then he went to his Gurudev. So in February, that is somewhere in 1946. In February 1946, he met his Gurudev, Sri Srimad Bhakti Pragyan Keshava Goswami Maharaj, and his life of complete and exemplary dedication to the path of Krishna Bhakti began. Upon receiving Harinam and Diksha initiation from his Gurudev, he received the name Sri Gauda Narayana. He accompanied his Gurudev on his extensive preaching tours throughout India, rendering him personal service and also actively assisting him in preaching. This included regular hosting of thousands of pilgrims attending the yearly Navadvip Dham Parikrama and Vraj Mandal Parikrama, which years later would draw thousands of devotees from all over the world. Sri Gauda Narayan was known for his respectful and affectionate dealing with all Vaishnavas, in particular with his 2 godbrothers, Sri Sajana Sevaka Brahmachari and Sri Ragunatha Das. These 3 stalwart Vaishnavas of the highest caliber assumed responsibility for their Gurudev's vision in the mood of harmony and cooperation that would last the duration of their lives. In 1952, all 3 were given sannyas, and Sri Gauda Narayan became Sri Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. In his early math life, he met Shri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj, our Prabhupada, the two world famous preachers of the Gaudiya Vaishnavism, in the future they would render superlative service to Srimad Bhakti. In the future he would render superlative service to Srimad Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj by nurturing and tendering the seeds of bhakti in the hearts of so many of his disciples and followers around the globe. That includes us. Another thing I read is that Gurudeva's native language was Hindustani and Srila Prabhupada's native language was Bengali. And the first time both of them had a conversation, it was in a common language, English. Because in India, English is a second language. In 1954, Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj was given responsibility of the Keshavji Gaudiya Math in Mathura. Under him, the math flourished, as the local residents of Braj came to experience the consummate care of one who is truly an eternal resident of Braj. His Gurudev has instructed him to translate the writings of prominent Gaudiya Vaishnavas into Hindi, because that was his native language. A task he audaciously assumed throughout his entire life, and which resulted in the publications of nearly 50 Hindi books. These invaluable masterpieces are currently being translated into major languages of the world. Since his heart brimmed with the most profound realization of Radha and Krishna's pastimes, which automatically included all Tattva Siddhanta, it was radiant with the deepest affection. Those who heard his Harikatha felt supreme protection from the onslaught of material miseries and experienced a deeper commitment to the path of bhakti. So those of us who were fortunate to hear his katha are very blessed. When he uttered the Harinam Mahamantra at the time of initiation, it was the same effect. He was famous throughout Braj Mandal and the entire world for how he transformed people's hearts in these ways. For many years he traveled throughout India and spread the message of Gaudiya Vaishnavism. In the mid-1980s, the first Western devotees came to receive his guidance. And in 1996, at their repeated requests, he went to Europe and America. During the next 14 years, he circled the globe more than 30 times. Whether he was in India or abroad, his preaching always bore the distinctive characteristics of boldly unmasking any misconception, obscuring the specific purposes of Sriman Mahaprabhu's advent. In strict adherence to the desire of Sri Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, and in perfect congruence with the conceptions of Srila Rupa Goswami. Thus, in upholding the glorious tenets of the Sampradaya, he performed the function of a true Acharya. A most enduring hallmark of his preaching was the heart-sealing affection he showed to all. As an Uttam Bhagavat, he entered the deepest recesses of the heart to give the unmistakable reassurance that he was one's eternal well-wisher. The depth of his affection is a tangible reality for all who have experienced it. And this is itself bears subjective testimony to the fact that he was a true emissary of the Supreme Lord. As thousands of devotees will affirm his genuine interest in the spiritual well-being of all souls was evident in his equal love and affection for all. He cared not if a person were his disciple, the disciple of another, or another philosophical school altogether. The divine affection grew no bounds. In other words, he accepted everyone. At the age of 90 years, on December 29, 2010, at 3 a.m. at Chakratita in Sri Jagannath Puri Dham, he concluded his pastimes in this world. That day was the sacred appearance day of his beloved godbrother, Nitya Leela Pravishta Om Vishnupad, Sri Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Vaman Goswami Maharaj. The following day in Sri Navadvip Dham, Sri Gaura Sundara, fully empowered emissary, the very embodiment of his unique compassion, was given Samadhi. He will ever cease to reside in his divine instructions and in the hearts of those who were devoted to him. He used to say, "Do not think I will ever leave you. Never ever, I am always with you." He said, "I will never leave you, I will always be with you." In a mood of insignificance and longing for his mercy, we fall at his lotus feet and pray for to bless our attempts to always be able to render him some service. We humbly offer this Vyas Puja memorial edition today. And on page 20 in our songbook, we're going to see the Guru Ashtakam, and that's the meaning of that Guru Ashtakam endorses our Gurudeva. Samsara dava nalalidha loka chanaya karuna gana ganadvam bhaktasya kalyana gunadavasya Vande Guru Sri Charanarvindam Vande Guru Sri Charanarvindam Vande Guru Sri Charanarvindam Mahaprabhu Kirtanamita Gita Parijavadyam Manasodasena Romanchakam Pasu Tarangamaju Vande Guru Sri Charanarvindam Vande Guru Sri Charanarvindam Vande Guru Sri Charanarvindam Sri Vigraharadhana Nidjanana Shrigaratam Vandiramarjanado Yutasya Bhatam Vande Guru Sri Charanarvindam Vande Guru Sri Charanarvindam Vande Guru Sri Charanarvindam Chaturvida Sri Bhagavat Prasada Svatmana Pindana Divakta Sangam Vidyapatite Vajata Sadeva Vande Guru Sri Charanarvindam Vande Guru Sri Charanarvindam Vande Guru Sri Charanarvindam Vidamika Madhyaurabhara Madhurya Lila Gunarupanam Rati Sarasvadana Lolupasya Vande Guru Sri Charanarvindam Vande Guru Sri Charanarvindam. Vande Guru Sri Charanarvindam. Nikundaya Gunodati Siddhare Yayami Nyuktina Pekshaliya Tatrasi Daksharati Mahavasya. Vande Guru Sri Charanarvindam. Vande Guru Sri Charanarvindam. Vande Guru Sri Charanarvindam. Chaturabhena samasta sastra yuktascha bhavyataiva sabhi kintu prabhuya priyaeva tasya. Vande Guru Sri Charanarvindam. Vande Guru Sri Charanarvindam. Vande Guru Sri Charanarvindam. Yasya prasadam bhagavat prasadam yasya prasadam nagadikutopi jayasya sukhamasya yasya sangyam. Vande Guru Sri Charanarvindam. Vande Guru Sri Charanarvindam. Vande Guru Sri Charanarvindam. Shri Guru Rame Bhumurte Parachitratna Yasena Vaidana Yasasasa Sevana Vajana Sasaseta. Guru Sri Charanarvindam. Vande Guru Sri Charanarvindam. Just as a cloud distinguishes a blazing forest fire by showering its rain on it, so Sri Gurudeva, who is an ocean of auspicious qualities, manifests like a condensed cloud, which showers the rain of divine mercy, delivers the living beings caught by the fire of material existence. I adore the lotus feet of that Sri Gurudeva, which are the abode of great auspiciousness. Dancing, singing and playing musical instruments in Sankirtan. Sri Gurudeva is perpetually intoxicated as he relishes the divine love of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in his heart. In this state, he sometimes exhibits ecstatic symptoms, and his hair stands on end, he shivers, and torrents of tears flow from his eyes. I adore the lotus feet of that Sri Gurudeva, which are the abode of grace and auspiciousness.
Always worshipping Sri Vigraha and absorbed in Sringara Ras, Sri Gurudev daily dresses them differently with beautiful clothes and ornaments designed to enhance their meetings. He cleans the temple and performs other services for them, and he also engages his disciples in these services. I offer prayers unto the lotus feet of Sri Gurudeva.
Sri Gurudeva is always satisfied to see Sri Krishna. Devotees relishing 4 kinds of foodstuffs that have been offered, namely those which are chewed, sucked, licked, and drunk. Thus, the devotees become satisfied by tasting Mahaprasada, that is, by accepting Prasada in the mood of service. Material life is destroyed and the bliss of divine love is awakened in the heart. We offer prayers unto the lotus feet of Sri Gurudeva.
At every moment, Sri Gurudeva is experiencing intense greed in his heart to taste the unlimited sweetness of the holy names, forms, qualities, and pastime of Sri Sri Radha Madhava. I offer my prayers unto the lotus feet of Sri Gurudeva.
Sri Gurudeva is always present with the disciples, planning the arrangements for the perfection of Yugala Kishore and his pastime, last cave, within the kunjas of Vrindavan. Because he is so expert in making these tasteful arrangements for the pleasure, he is very dear to Sri Radha and Krishna. I offer prayers into the lotus feet of Sri Gurudeva. all the scriptures proclaim Sri Gurudev is Saksat Hari, with direct potency of Sri Hari, and is thus considered by saintly authorities to be his non-different representative. Because Sri Gurudev is so dear to the Lord, being his confidential servitor, Asitya Beda, Prakash Vigraha, the inconceivable, different and non-different, worshipable manifestation of the Lord. I offer prayers into his lotus feet.
Only by the mercy of Sri Gurudev can one receive the mercy of Krishna. Without his grace, the living entities cannot make any advancement nor be delivered. Meditating 3 times a day on the glories of Sri Gurudev and reciting Sattva Sutti, I offer prayers unto his lotus feet.
That person who very attentively recites the Astakam to Sri Gurudev during the Brahma Muhurta is sure to achieve direct service to the lotus feet of Sri Krishna, the very life and soul of Vrindavan Nath. Upon attaining his Vashtu Siddhi is pure spiritual form.
Anybody else want to say anything? Speak anything on Gurudev?
Well, I think everybody has to say something.
Yes. Everybody
No,
does.
we can start from there. Like
Everybody
this.
say something.
You can start with the Prabhu and then we can go like that,
Yeah.
if you like.
I had the opportunity to meet Gurudev when he came. Here we were in a hotel in Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah, and
It was the first time I met him. That's where I got my initiation from Gurudev. I was very lucky and very fortunate to have met his association. And I tell many people ever since I met him, and when I tried to explain anybody else who are not devotees, and the easiest way for me to explain to them is that this process, and once you surrender, is like magic. That is the word, magic. And it is magic. Because when we chant Mahamantra, it is magic. For this Kali Yuga, that is the ultimate. Just chant and be happy. And till we can really chant the Mahamantra and chant it with so much love and prema, it's very hard to explain to anybody else. But it starts by chanting a lot. And that's where I started too. I chant as much as I can. And everything else is just secondary if you cannot chant the Mahamantra. It is the most important thing you can do for yourself. It is not for anybody else, it is for yourself. To liberate yourself from the cycle of birth and death. And I'm very fortunate in this avatar to make acquaintance and association of Gurudev. Jai.
The story that comes to mind mostly is in 2009 I took Harinam initiation at Ragunatha's house in Miami Beach via Skype with Vishnu Maharaj and about 10 other my god brothers and god sisters. But I had this need to see Gurudev in person, so I begged, stole, and borrowed to get money to go to India, and I went to Kartik for 2009, where I took my Harinam initiation with Gurudev on the second floor. And it was funny because I was expecting a fire sacrifice like they do in ISKCON. So I was asking everybody the day before, where's the fire sacrifice? And so I actually, by mistake, I sat in on the Brahmana Diksha initiation, and I thought, wow, Krishna's mercy. I jumped the step, and so I went to Vishnu Maharaj, and he's like, no, take the rope off, take the Brahmana string off. So anyways, the very next day, I saw a long line forming downstairs in the Gaudiya Mata, and I just had this calling, so I went and I got in the back of the line, and I was like, what is this for? It was for initiation. And so I was in the very last one, and my name wasn't on the list, but I went up the stairs anyways. I told him, I'm Baladeva Das. And so, it's kind of like, the doorman, and I went upstairs, and I was the very last person there doing a wedding in front of me, and Gurudev gave the blessings to Mataji and Prabhu, and then, so I did the initiation, and then the very next day I was late for Mangalar, and I was staying on the like near the Krishna Balaram temple, Mata Mahan temple, and so I ran across Vrindavan, ran down Yamuna Road, and just as I was going in the door, there's a boy that sells garlands, and I never bought a garland. And this one morning, the sun was just starting to come up, and I was like, this voice said, buy a garland. I bought the garland. I kicked my shoes off in the long hallway, and as I was going down the hallway, everybody in the temple room was looking this way, and I was like, what's going on? And as soon as I broke past the hallway, I looked to my left, and there's Gurudeva coming right at me with Mata Maharaj and Brajanath Prabhu, and so I dropped down to my knees and I had the garland right there, and I held it up to Gurudev, and they picked it, took it from my hands and put it on Gurudev. But that was just like something that has always stayed in my mind, and I just was so glad I listened to Paramatma and bought the garlands. I had something there to offer Gurudeva when I saw him coming to late. At least I had something, an apple to give to my teacher, to my father, and so that's like my most memorable time. And I remember taking for granted that Gurudeva was always going to be there, and I just thought, next year I'm going to come here and it's going to be the same thing. And then the next year when I came, Gurudev's health was very bad. And he didn't come out of his room in Govardhan, and I was just like, well, I'm just so fortunate to have that mercy to have come into the movement when I did, and not a year later, and to have given that gift of initiation. And the next time I was to see him was in Orlando when he came up for Lord Narasimha Chaturdasi, and we're all up in Orlando. And that's when I finally took my Diksha and got my fire sacrifice, and Gurudev got a great class, and it was that was the last time that I would see him.
You made one good point I will comment on. You said you listened to Paramatma. Now in Shastra, it is stated that Krishna is Paramatma within, that means inside, and he's Gurudev outside, without. So you see the connection there? Krishna is Paramatma and Krishna within, and Krishna is Gurudev outside. So Gurudev is Sakshat Hari. Representation of okay.
Yeah, first, before I start talking about our beloved Gurudeva, I want to read something I was reading this week in Sri Manasiksha about Guru, Sri Guru. The topmost Bhagavad devotee who completely destroys all anarthas and bestows Sambandha Jnana, or transcendental knowledge, of one's relationship with Sri Krishna is known as the Diksha Guru. The topmost Bhagavat who gives instructions about how to perform bhajan of Sri Sri Radha Krishna Yugala, the divine couple, is known as the Shiksha Guru. knowing both to be non-different from Sri Krishna and very dear to him, one should serve them. Uh, One should serve them lovely in accordance with the inner desire of their heart. In all the revealed scriptures, Sri Gurudeva is considered to be the sum total of devatas, or celestial dignities, and the eternal Vigraha manifestation of the Supreme Lord. They should be worshipped and revered in the highest manner, and should never be concerned in ordinary human beings. Well, I'm sorry about this. But anyway, but today basically we remember him that he disappeared of this world. But really, in my case, because I have the opportunity to have the initiation with him and to be and have darshan with him. Every time that I see him 2 or 3 times, he touched my head, and that was for me the only thing that I needed to know what was my relationship with him, and I feel that no more even it's a feeling of separation, but I'm completely sure I'm feeling his presence right now, and always what I'm thinking is, the best way to offer something is offer yourself. Offer to yourself means follow his instructions. And we are so fallen. We don't have we don't have the strength sometimes to follow that. But his presence is so powerful that he came in that moment that we needed, because I think everybody happened to every one of us. Guru comes to you when most you need it, when we are ready to take the next step. Means and it's magical, like Prabhu said. Change your life, change your view about things in life. Then you're gonna thank Gurudeva about his blessings.
Jai Gurudev.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Yeah.
First of all, I offer my most humble obeisances to my Krishna, my Bhikshuru, and to all the devotees here present. I'm very fond to speak on such a high personality as my Gurudeva, but I can say something that through my personal experience of, I'm sorry, I'm not really good at speaking in public when it comes to very deep feelings of mine, and Gurudeva, and everybody has their own relationship with Gurudeva, and we know how dear and deep it is in our lives. And all I want to say is that we are so fortunate to have come into contact with Gurudeva in this lifetime. We have no idea. And we pray that one day we can realize exactly how fortunate we are. And Gurudeva is still present. He's still present. And when he said, I'm closer than the air you breathe, he's always here with us. And if we could just acknowledge that and take that mercy that he's there to give all the time, it's up to us whether we want to receive it or not, how much we want it. And I remember one devotee said once that when she met Gurudeva, she was a disciple of Srila Prabhupada. When she met Gurudeva, he said, now you're entering the school of crying, he says. Because it is the school of crying. You have to cry for mercy. And Gurudev says, I'm one tear away from you. Whenever you want to remember me, whenever you want to feel my presence, just give me one tear. One tear is enough. And he's right. He's right. And the feeling and the connection that we have to our Gurudev is undescribable. Nothing in this material world can describe this feeling that we have towards him, the love. No one will remember, no one will forget the moment when he would glance his eyes upon your eyes, and it seemed like the whole world stopped. It was just something undescribable in the feeling, and that I will always remember. And I just pray that I can follow my Gurudev's instructions and make him happy. That's all I can do right now. We haven't had mercy to Gurudev. He's met Maharaj. He's very shy speaking. So am I. Sorry, but.
I came in contact with the devotees in 2001 in Costa Rica, and at that time I was 14, and I took initiation by the phone, and we were three only, three people in the room. None of us spoke English, none of us understood what Gurudeva was saying, but what I can tell is, at that time, we just heard his voice. And I remember he was telling every word of the Maha Mantra very carefully. And then he was making us repeat it. But he was telling, no, louder, louder, more, he was saying. And then we were like shouting because something with the phone, he couldn't hear us, or I don't know. So we were shouting, and then at the end he said, oh, very good. Now I want all of you to come and see me soon. So I took that, I have to go see Gurudev soon. And it took me like 4 or 5 years, because my parents didn't let me, money and everything. It took me like 5 years to meet him finally. And when I came, I met him in LA first time. And so, the crowd, all the people, and I'm very short, and it's very difficult. So somehow I got in front of him. People push, and I got in front of him. And the first thing he said to me, when I look at him, I couldn't even give pranams. I was in shock, to see his eyes, and so many devotees, and I've never seen, and that doesn't happen in Latin America. So I was, in shock to see him. And first thing he said, he looked at me and he said, oh, finally you came to me. Yeah. And I was so shocked that, he never, ever saw me or knew anything, there was no way he could knew that I was that little soul over there, And I don't know, then somebody pushed me and said, you have to give pranams, it's your guru. And then I just give pranams, and I fell in shock like for 2 hours, crying. But it's like, that was my special moment with him. After that, I was able to go to India and see him again, but he's that special person, that he never goes. He steals your heart once you look at him, at his eyes. And he's lovely, he was such a lovely personality. He is that lovely personality. He's still with us. And just one more thing I want to say is that today morning I was hearing one class about the disappearance of Vaishnavas, and that I want to share. It's very interesting because they said that
the appearance and the disappearance of a Vaishnava, they are both auspicious, and there is no reason why we should feel pain in our hearts when Vaishnavas disappear, because they're always here with us, and they're always bestowing blessings. It's just that we're given one example. I don't remember very well, but the point is that Gurudeva is always with us, and now that he's not physically visible for us, it's the chance that we have to follow his instructions a little more, and maybe to go deep inside to more chanting and more sadhana. And then, like she said, trying to follow his instructions and serve him the best way we can. That's it.
I'm very grateful to be with the devotees and to be here on this evening to hear about I never met him, and there is a word, my guru is his guru. The first time I ever saw him was in this house. I saw a picture of him. He was with a nice face. And the second time I saw him again, another picture in Miami. I've heard since May many stories and experiences from the heart of devotees that have been in association with him. Words are very primitive when it comes to sharing the heart. And in a way, he awakened me. I was in India and I was walking down the street and I went to a store. And someone was having copies of his picture. And I looked and I said, oh, I would love to have that picture. And later, like a week later, I went down the same street and the person was picking them up. They were discussing a mistake while I was waiting in line. So I said, oh, if you don't want it, I'll take it. And this person said, oh, well, let's see what happens. We'll see what happens. And later that week, he came to me and he handed it to me and he said, your heart's desire is fulfilled. And everywhere I go, I take this picture. And when I was in India and I wanted to be alone, I would go and I would chant in front of him. And when I would have sadhana, I always seemed to sit directly across from his wall. And it comforted me. And when I see tears, it's how much love there is for him. And I don't want to use the wrong word like contagious, but when I was in India, in Gurudeva, I heard many sisters family devotees share their experiences. And I had tears in my eyes. It was so beautiful. You grabbed my heart somehow. And I'm very humble. I don't speak English.
En Spanish, man. She's going to teach you.
Yeah. Para mí conocer a Gurudeva ha sido una experiencia más maravillosa.
Meeting Gurudeva has been the most wonderful experience I've ever had.
Y trato de seguir todas sus enseñanzas. Cada día estoy segura de que son perfectas y maravillosas.
All I try to do is follow his instructions. Every day I realize they're perfect and wonderful.
Y por eso me siento
our rounds every day because that's the only way we can have that. Yes. Hare Krishna. If we really sit and try to understand how fortunate we are about being, having had Gurudev's association and being in contact with such a high class Vaishnava, we wouldn't be able to understand the wonderful personality of Sri Gurudev. Because it's like a miracle. And like she said, we were living in a very dark place, you know. And in Shastra it says that when a parent has a child, its main responsibility, duty, or dharma of the parent is teach that child to love God and to serve God. And when I was growing up, I did not have the fortune to be in a place or in a home where they taught me love for God. So I can Kali Yuga is very difficult for everyone, you know, for people who are searching spiritual life, and much more for those people who are just trying to enjoy material, you know, get material enjoyment. So there's spiritual, so many cheaters out there that are just trying to fool people. And when we think about that, when I think about it, I'm just so grateful and so happy that I had Shiva experience. It was always so loving, so caring towards everyone. And when he was walking, thousands and thousands of people were walking around, and you could feel, oh, he's looking at me. He saw me. His beautiful eyes, his glance, his smile. Everyone there. Just like when you hear about Krishna dancing with all the gopis, Gurudev was, you know, feeding that relationship with each one of us. And everybody there could feel it. When we went to Badger, we went to Houston, thousands and thousands of devotees, and we just, you know, touched his feet or got some prashad. We're like, oh, Gurudev gave me this flower. Oh, he looked at me, or oh, he said that, and every moment was so special. Everybody was so blissful when he was around. And what we must remember is that he's still with us. He's still with us, and that we have a reason to be blissful. And I know life is difficult, and I know everybody has challenges, but we're so fortunate and grateful. And when we get up in the morning and we offer something to the deities, we start our day with blessings every single day. And like she said, the best way to serve Srila Gurudev is do our chanting and follow his instructions, because that's the only way that we can reunite with him again. We can reunite with Srila. And I thank all of you, because when we meet, it's so special. We have this opportunity to praise our Guru and remember all the blessings he gave us, all those gifts. Every time somebody new came, he was so happy. Yeah, bring more people, bring more souls, bring more flowers. He was always pleased. So we shouldn't stop. We should try to share this knowledge with more people and be grateful that we were able to receive his mercy. Jai Shri Gurudev.
that we used to have a temple in Athletic. I'm pretty sure you know that temple. And in that same year, Srila Gurudev came, we had a big festival. Srila Gurudev came and we had a program on dikes in the Vishnu temple. This is the first time I met Srila Gurudev. And as soon as the program ended, I saw Dr. Alanka was a driver at that time. And when Srila Gurudev was on his way out of the temple, many devotees came and did pranam, and I was shocked. I said, what is that? I couldn't understand why they had to put down at his lotus feet. And finally, when he got on the car, many devotees, big, tall people like Prabhu, fall down, not carefully, but dandavats. And I was, who is this guy? Who is he? And then my heart melted at that time, and I said, wow. And then that same, a week later, I got initiation from him in Coral Spring. The next day, yeah, I got initiated from him in Coral Spring. And he looked at me and said, where are you from? I said, I'm from Haiti. He said, where? I said, from Haiti. He said, where is that? And then I became hopeless. I said, wow. I said, wow, even the place that I came from, he didn't even know. And I felt very, very bad because I said, Haiti must be a sinful country. I said, Haiti must be a very sinful country because he didn't even know Haiti. And then he asked Sashikala, you also from Haiti? He said, yes, we also from Haiti. And then we got Arinam, and since then we became, I cannot say devotee, but we became with the associate, more trying to become devotee. And before we used to do so many nonsense. We were looking, I was doing mantra yoga meditation. I was trying to, I remember I used to, before I go to work, I used to wake up early in the morning, do so many rituals like Masonic, because I took initiation from Mason, and then I was not satisfied. I said, wow. And then I was trying the yoga meditation, still was not satisfied. And then when I met Srila Gurudev, wow, I said, wow, now I feel something. And I remember I asked, at that time, Aranya Maharaj, I asked him, and I was asking him so many questions about so many of the spiritual master, and he said, and I asked him, so is it the only way that I can go to God? He said, it was very tricky. He said, no, there's many other, there's the method that you can do to go to God. And then I said, oh, okay. And then he said, but the only thing, do this one also. And when I met him 2 years later in North Carolina, I told him that you told me to there's the method to go to God, but actually it's not true, because you just want me, you didn't want me to give up. You just want to encourage me, but you told me, keep doing this one, because by doing this one, I will forget about the other way. Yeah. He said, oh, you're very intelligent to realize that. And also, I asked also, every time I go to class, to program, people, if you see me, you can see in my face, the face is not very happy, because I was trying to mix the two philosophies, like the two philosophy, what I knew before and what I'm learning now. Every time I go, I have headache. And then when Damodar Maharaj came, I asked him also, do you know this spiritual master? He said, they are students. I said, wow, he hurt me when he told me they are students. And I said, what do you mean? He said, yeah, they are students. I said, and also I asked him the same question. Is it the only path, the only bona fide way to go to God? He said, yes. I said, wow. And then I said, what about those people in Haiti? They don't know about this. So God is not merciful. He said, this is the reason why you come here. At that time I didn't understand, but later on I understood what he met by saying that this is the reason why I'm here. Because by Krishna's arrangement, by Guru's mercy, so I got an opportunity to come here. But even though we're not so qualified to be in the association of Guru and Vaishnav, but by Guru's mercy, by Krishna's mercy, we have some chance. We have a chance. But and also without the association of Vaishnavas, life is like this is said. Life is meaningless. Not to tell without the association of Guru, because in this world we trying to go here and there, trying to be happy. Every time we try, we think, oh, now I'm gonna be happy. But we always get some, get crushed. So, but with the mercy of Guru, we always, and also with the association of the Vaishnavas, we always happy. We always have some good relationship with the Vaishnavas. We always feel something. So I'm praying to be always with the association of the Vaishnavas, and also I can get the blessing also of the Vaishnavas, so we can always be happy. Thank you.
Try to say something, because I'm not qualified to speak about the glories of Srila Gurudeva, but I'm going to try. Om Angena Tingandasya Janam Jana Shalakaya Chakshurni Kamina Ashwana Shigurudeva Om Aham Vishnu Padaya Radhika Yatna Shishiman Bhakti Vedanta Narayana Nitya. First of all, thank you for all coming, and as Ragunatha was saying, today is a wonderful day. It is such a great day. Actually, we should celebrate that every day. We should feel the same. We should weep for Srila Gurudeva's blessing. We are so fortunate to have that mercy, to have a chance to serve in any ways such a great Vaishnava, such a great Guru who is directly in contact with Sri Sri Radha Krishna, serving them 24/7. We might not know it, but we are so merciful. We are so blessed. So blessed. And we should feel like that. Before, as Ragunatha was saying, we've been looking here and there, doing so, going in this part, looking for something. We've been looking, and then by Gurudev's mercy, while I was giving birth to Shanti, we all know the story. The midwife, she was a devotee, and we've been playing the Mahamantra unknowingly. A friend bought the CD of Krishna, that's the American singer, and then she asked us, oh, I didn't know you were interested in that, and you've been coming here for like 9 months. If you're really interested, you should come to the temple. We have a temple in Atlantic. And then the next week, it was a Sunday, the next week, from then, we start going to meet to the meeting, to meet the devotees. And it's been 10 years now since we've been trying our best to keep on going in this path. Like Prabhu said, when I first met Srila Gurudeva, in the temple in Oakland, I was really shocked because I saw so many Americans, so many people from different um, background or with different ways and doing dandavats, offering their pranam to Srila Gurudeva when he was living. I said, wow, who is this guy? An old man, that's what I saw at that time. An old man and everybody like they're washing, pushing people and going to do their offer their pranam for Srila Gurudeva. I said, wow, he must be someone important because I've never seen that. Never seen that. And then the next day we do Harinam over Banumati's house. And after that we got second initiation. And William did so much and he's kept doing so much. He's always there. Like that picture every morning. That's the first person when I come in here to go to the temple. That's the first person that I see because he's right here. For me, he's right here. He's always there for me. For me, he's always there. Even though we cannot see him physically with our material eyes, but I can feel him. I know he's always there. I know that he's always there. And all I can say, I will never be able to thank him. Never. I can still try, but I will never be able to thank him for his mercy, for coming here and blessing all of us, doing so much for us. So I can pray that one day we all of us, one day we will help him in his eternal seva at the lotus feet of Sri Sri Radha Govinda Dev. And I can thank him also for giving us that opportunity to serve his devotees. Like those 4 kids, they are so lucky from comparing to us going in Haiti. You don't know that in Haiti. So I can say I can thank him and pray that he will help me, help us keep doing that seva and trying to do it to improve our service to the kids and the devotees and ask him also to always give us that opportunity to keep on doing what we're doing and doing it, trying to improve it day after day. All right. Thank you, Srila Guru. Thank you. Thank you.
I am here to glorify Srila Gurudev just for the purpose of my own purification. I can't really glorify such an exalted personality, Srila Gurudev, but for the purpose of purification. The Vaishnavas, we get together and I get to purify myself. I met Gurudev here in Miami in 2008, no, 2009. discover secrets of the self, or right, this book is more like sweet. So I really like, and then I'm involved in the yoga community somehow. Also, Manjari came to one yoga class, and we had a beautiful kirtan with all these beautiful disciples, Srila Gurudev, singing and glorifying Gurudev. And at that time, I was also thirsting for something more. I was living in Miami, but I wanted, it was like the first time I was on my own, trying to do my own thing, looking for something. So I was thirsting for something more, and I saw all these people really happy, blissed out on something that was like natural, and I said, I wanna get this. So I talked to a couple of devotees. I talked to Manjari, and Manjari is like, you need to meet Srila Gurudev. You need to come to Ragunatha's place and just be in that atmosphere and sit down and maybe talk to him, maybe not talk to him, maybe just be there. Go check it out. And I went to a morning walk. I went to a couple of morning walks, and I started to chant. I didn't know, I was like maybe chanting in my mind the Mahamantra. I was just starting to get into all this yoga, chanting, bhakti, all this. So I found some japa bag, or they gave me a japa bag, and I started going to the morning walks and chanting japa. And then some devotees pushed me to get initiated. They're like, just ask for initiation. You should. Don't let this opportunity go by. And I was like, okay, I don't know. Okay. And I did it. I asked Gurudev, can you give me initiation? And he gave this look like, I don't know, it was, like, who are you, or what is this? And then some other devotee said, Gurudev, yeah, he is with this group of persons, devotees that are new and they're chanting, and you should give, he's good, he's nice. So then he said, okay, after you come upstairs. And then I took initiation. It was just me and him when we took initiation. He was sitting in the couch, I was sitting on the floor. He told me the 4 regulative principles. Then again, like, now I know a little bit more, which is really little of who he is, right? Before, when that happened, I'm just in front of course, Gurudev. I kind of have some notion of what Guru is and all of this, but not the magnitude of this personality that I just encountered. So he's giving me Mahamantra, repeat after me, Hare Krishna, Nam Hare Krishna. And okay, he's giving me the mantra, and he's giving me, okay, follow these 4 regular principles, no, intoxication, no eating meat, no gambling, no illicit sex, and then we stayed there for maybe a couple more seconds, and then he went to his room. And of course, I wanted to know my name really bad, but I was so shy. I couldn't ask, because I didn't want to feel like I just came for the name or something. Like I just got initiated for the name or something. So I didn't ask. So after he went to his room, then Sri Padmadeva Maharaj came and he said, what is your name? And then I said, I didn't ask. Shy. Can you ask for me? So he went, he asked, and he said, okay, your name is Madhusudan Das. And I said, okay, Jai, thank you very much.
Madhusudan.
And then, yeah. And then I started to hang out with, get more association, thanks to, Ragunatha, who had the place there, and we had sannyasis coming, like we're still having now. And then we had all these nice devotees come through, and I started to hear more about His Divine Grace, Srila Gurudev, and all His unlimited qualities and potencies, and these nice things that He does, and how sweet He is, how rasik He is, and how deep in all His truth He is established. And I fell more in love a little bit, what can you say, a little bit. And I'm here still trying to chant and stay strong and try to follow his words and follow all the Vaishnavas that are still keeping up with his mission and trying to keep this movement going. So I went to Houston a couple of times, or one time, and then I went to Badger while he was here, and then he left his world, and I just came from Vrindavan, so I was there. It was really nice being there, and I went to him, by his mercy, I got to go to Vrindavan and do parikram and be there in the association of the Vaishnavas and touch the dust of all the holy places. And so I'm very grateful because it's all by his mercy. Really nothing I can do nothing on my own, by my own endeavor, nothing. So everything that good happening is all his mercy that I'm able to receive somehow, because I'm also very offensive, and because I'm offensive, then when I chant, there's nothing happening. So I need to chant more and more and more, so my offenses will go away. Thank you, Krishna.
Om Gurudeva Gaurachandaya Radhikaya Tadale Krishna Krishna Bhaktaya Tadabhaktaya Namaha Om Agyana Timirandasya Jnanandasya Chakshurun Maritam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. I believe that I was the most fallen. I took birth in a Hindu home, and by my name at birth is Krishna. My name at birth is Krishna. That's my Karmi name. When I took initiation, Gurudev said, not Krishna, Krishna Das. I said, thank you, Gurudev. I grew up in an environment that is 100% Mayavad. Do you all know what is Mayavad? This Mayavad philosophy. And Srila Prabhupada says, this Mayavad philosophy is the worst thing, it's hell. And throughout my life, before meeting Gurudev, I was involved in this Mayavad. But there was always this inclination and this desire in my heart to get to know the truth. And I tried many different spiritual leaders. I took initiation in the Mayavad way, and I did all type of things. I remember way back in the 60s or 70s, early 70s, I used to go to the square. There was a square in the city, and I used to walk close by, and I used to go to the square, and I used to listen to these few devotees chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And there was something in it that kept attracting me. I will always keep going to the square, and I will give contribution, and they will give me back to Godhead magazines. And I would bring the magazines home, I would read. And I start buying books from them. And then, growing up I grew up in the Caribbean, I'm from the Caribbean. And I did everything that was wrong. Anything you think about that was wrong, I did it. But luckily, I always get away with it. And I got married, very successful academically. and successful marriage, family. But I never really took this thing seriously, this part seriously, and then I came to America. When I came to America, again I got absorbed in this Mayavad philosophy, and I keep going into this thing. But I always have my Bhagavad Gita as it is, that I had bought from days back when, and I will be reading. And I will do Agnihotra and all the different ceremonies and so on that I learn. I do all these things. Worshipping all the different devatas and devis, demigods, for different material things. But then I came to the age 50 years. That was 10 years ago. So now I'm 60 years. And at that time, I said, how will I celebrate? What will I do for this 50th birthday? What will I do? And I speak to many different people. And I end up going to the ISKCON temple in Coconut Grove. There I met Nataka Didi.
Narutaka.
And I told her, I said, look, I want 50 Bhagavad Gita as it is. Please get me 50, how much is going to cost? I give her a check. She said, come back for it so and so day. She called me, come back for it. I took this, I get this 50 Bhagavad Gitas. And I came back and I went to the same temple, the Mayavad temple where I normally attend. And I decided, look, today I'm going to distribute 50 Bhagavad Gitas to 50 people. And then I came home. But before that, I always start Bhagavad Gita and I couldn't understand it and I put it down. Start Bhagavad Gita and put it down. Then I start over again about 3 or 4 times. But this time, it was something different. One devotee, Sudarshan Prabhu, he was there in the temple that day when I was distributing his Gitas. And about a week passed, he said, he called me and he said, come. And we're going to start reading Bhagavad Gita together at Sudarshan Prabhu's house on Friday evenings. And then after Friday evening, on Sunday evening, we will go to the temple in Atlantic. And from there was something, a transformation took place. And it's the first time I'm going to see a picture of Gurudeva. When I saw this picture, I'm feeling different. And I met Mahabudhi and I started chanting Harinam. But I'm still involved in the Mayavad. But the chanting the Harinam and following, it was, as Prabhu said, it has so much power that you automatically leaves the other. The others fall apart, fall on the wayside. And then I went to North Carolina where we took Harinam. And this is the first time I heard a sannyas speaking. Someone giving Hari Katha like this. Aranya Maharaj, because Gurudeva was sick and he was in Houston. And when Aranya Maharaj doing Bhagavatam, I said, wait now. This guy, where this guy got his knowledge? What it is going on here? Something is wrong with me now. said, look, this is the path. Speaking to a couple of devotees, and I met up in I say, I'm going to take Harinam, and I took Harinam there. And in fact, next year we went to Houston. When we went to Houston now, it's the first time I'm going to see Gurudev, see him in person. And when we get there, I left you all in the van. I don't know where I left you all, but I just ran, and Gurudev is now coming down the asana. And I clear everybody aside. And I just ran and did Dandavat Pranam. And Mahabodhi is standing up there. He said, what? I did Dandavat Pranam. I said, this is my Guru. We made this connection. And since that day, that moment, Gurudev, you stole my heart. And I know that Gurudev, he knows what is in my heart. He knows what is in my heart. Every time we at a function and what is in my desire, I get it right there. Gurudev will come in front of me right there, so I could do Dandavats and get his blessing. When we went to, the last time I went to India was in Navadvip. When we went to Navadvip, you know the thousands of people. When I get there, thousands of people. And I said, I want to go to my Guru. I said, my Guru. And when I going up to Gurudev, some sannyas say, no, you can't come. Gurudev said, no, let him. And I went up the few steps, right? And I had to do my Dandavats and get his blessing. Gurudev know what is in my heart. So that's the reason why Gurudev is inside. Although he's not there now, physically outside. What we have to do is know that Gurudev is in there. Gurudev knows everything what goes on with us. And the first thing we do when we get up and our eyes open and we come to our consciousness. And you sit, you get up in your bed and you sit. First thing. Samsara dava nalalidhaloka. First thing comes out. First thing. And the last thing you do before you go to bed, you worship Gurudev when you go to bed and when you lie down. That moment between lying down on your pillow before you become unconscious, sound sleep, you chant Mahamantra. You chanting. And during the night also, unconsciously you will be chanting. And during the day you're chanting, you're working, you're chanting. It will be continuously. Sometimes you're doing other things, other activities, and when you come back to your consciousness, it's because you are chanting. That's Gurudev's mercy. And if we get one drop of mercy, Gurudev Kripa Bindu Diya, one drop, Bindu is drop, one drop of mercy. That's all I need, Gurudev, one drop of mercy. And I have to say that with his mercy, I was able to leave that, or get out of that Mayavad philosophy. Now I know the both sides. I know what is Mayavad, I know what is Sunyavad, right? I know what is impersonal, Nirvisesh Brahm, because this is what I was involved in. And now, so I know that side, and now I know this side. Thanks to the mercy of Gurudev, that I am be able to serve in some small way. And I'm always, sometimes I'm in a, like for example, last night I was in an assembly, was a Mayavad assembly, and I was able to speak. And speak about the glories of Gurudeva and speak about Vaishnavism and try to educate these people to know what the truth is. This what the truth, what comes out from Gurudev's mouth is the truth. Mantra Satyam, Puja Satyam, Satyam Deva Niranjanaha. Guru Vakyam, the words come out from his mouth. Sada Satyam is the ultimate truth. Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah. Follow? So we have to follow Gurudev's words, and he left all his instruction in his books. All his instructions in his books, and we have all his lectures and we have his videos thanks to technology. And Gurudev, my humble obeisances to you. Jai Gurudev. Now we will do, you want to do Aarti first and then Pushpanjali? Okay. Okay, you all want to do, you could do Pushpanjali? You could do Pushpanjali here?
Krishna Hare Hare